to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail, and with me today I have Loot and M4.
The court is in session.
And Loot is on mute because he's...
Hey guys!
There he is. He is cooking, so he's trying not to be very loud in the background. Kage may or may not join us. For some reason he's struggling with making a lot of money versus showing up to a podcast. I'm just not sure what the decision is.
Slacker!
Not sure what the decision is there. And before we get...
Money's so overrated.
That's... yeah, but that's more money to invest in cryptocurrencies, so... That's what me and Loot have been obsessed with lately. Part of the reason why I've been less...
It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting. And part of... I've been a little bored with the game lately. Just last month was kind of boring. Hopefully this month should be more fun to me, at least, because I'm a huge Starfire and Blackfire fan. And, so we have had very few episodes. Kage was supposed to do one earlier in the month. He never got around to it. So he's been busy as well. So we've been slacking on the content. We'll try to do a little better this month, because this month should be a lot better. And with that, let's get into it. Who is, M4, we'll start with you. Who is your Toon of the Month?
Oh, that's easy. Barda.
Barda. She was a good one. How about you, Loot? Well, who was your Siege Toon of the Month?
Also Big Barda. She came in at RB4. I had her RB4 the entire Siege. She was awesome. She's now RB5. Love her. Toon of the Month by far for me.
I would say Toon of the Month would probably be Barda for me, but Siege Toon of the Month I would have to say is Hawkgirl. She was used in every team, where Barda I couldn't use her in every team. Actually, there was quite a few teams I didn't use her on. I would say the majority of teams I didn't use her on, actually, for Siege.
For who?
For Siege itself, but...
Well, the cool thing about Siege with Barda is that when she was like RB4 for me in M4, you could run her against Manta and she would still live because she was so tanky.
So Kage, who is your Toon of the Month? I see you made it.
Barda, honestly.
Sheriff Lobo also said Hawkgirl, but it looks like it's Barda, which I can't argue with that at all. She's pretty awesome. For some reason, Sheriff Lobo hates her, so he was going to trash on her. He's the only one it looks like that gave her A tier, so let's just get into Barda. I will be taking her RB5 as well. I'm kind of sad she made it to the 6th day, just because the day we're recording this, the stuff just got released about an hour ago. I'm kind of sad because there's going to be a lot of RB5s, but also I'm happy because it's going to save me a fortune in gems.
Yeah, it's going to be cheaper.
Kage, I know you're on a tight schedule, so we'll let you start with Barda. What are your thoughts?
I'm just going to say it, dude. I called it when I predicted she was going to be S tier last month, and looks like she's going to be making the S tier cut this month. She's a monster tank. Like, on defense, good lord, you're going to need either Arceus or Alex to get around her because she's just annoying. This Siege was just kind of a pain in the ass because you had to reliably stun her, and sometimes Hawkgirl never stunned the enemy Barda. She'd tank and carry your team.
You got to use her 3. Her 3 always stuns.
Exactly. She see, I didn't make top 10 like these other sweaty sweat lords, so I played back down in the top 100, top 150, and I never had to really change my rotation. It was just Hal, Hawkgirl, Barda, Manta, or change out Manta for 4th, but it was just Barda carrying my low-level teams to the finish line.
M4, any thoughts?
So I had a lot of people complain, say that, well, she's not very good on offense because she doesn't always do that taunt move when she gets hit. But people forget, including the Siege World's finest, that she also gains turn meter outside of that proc of her taunt move. So even if she doesn't do it on autos, you would still get to go next and then just taunt on your own, and then there you go. Once she gets rolling, she's almost impossible to stop. Not even Arcus can double punch her in the face.
Oh, and we will say, as you mentioned that, congratulations to Joshua Ars on his first Siege World's Finest. He's the king of Siege
Josh.
now.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Sheriff Lobo's 6 Siege wins doesn't hold a candle.
Yes, it's no longer self-proclaimed, I guess.
Yeah. Loot, what are your Barda thoughts? She's not as good as Anomaly.
I had to wait until until I was done with what I was doing. She's a monster, man. So tanky. At RB4, she was so tanky, like insane. And just like you guys were saying, like it's so hard to kill her, like with Arcus. Honestly, I think the best way to kill her is really to use Manta. Just bleed her out. That was what I did. I just bled her out every single time. I would bring Manta, and that would be it. So I really kind of ignored her, and I would go around her, let Manta passively kill her, and that's how I dealt with it. Now that doesn't work when you're, if Manta's not like a bonus toon, but for this siege it worked. I totally think she's S tier. I think she's amazing. I'm so happy. Actually, I didn't even wait to see about the 6th day. I only needed 3 packs, so I just bought 3 packs.
I was kind of surprised that they did have her sale overlapping where you could see the 6th day because...
Yeah, I only needed a couple hundred, so I was really close, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I did it. So S tier all the way. Totally amazing. Love her. The only thing that I would complain about is...
Actually, one thing before we move on. I also voted S tier, and as you all know, my Barda doesn't believe in taunting. That skill does not exist on my Barda, which you can see by the video. She taunts 1 out of maybe 10 times. So, even in Wraith, where she does it a little more than Siege. So, but even with that, she's S tier to me. I don't even pretend. I just pretend like she doesn't have that move when I get hit.
Yeah.
And without that, easily S tier. Love the character. And even at RB3, an L5 Arcus can't kill her. So, great character. Moving on to a character that's not quite as great. And that is Batman Who Laughs. When I first saw his kit, I really thought he was going to be really good. I thought the turn meter down thing would be a lot better than it was. I don't have him geared, so I'm actually... shouldn't really vote, but I agree with the only 2 people that did gear him and vote. So I'm for, let's just let you talk about him. Since you're the only here geared.
Yeah, I tested him in 1 or 2 streams, just because the first time I did it, it was like, he's trash tier. It's like, God, this is such a waste of gears. So I did a second look, and maybe C at most. So he has 2 problems. On a kill, he gets that extra attack. He gets to use his basic. However, there's nothing good about his basic other than damage. If it applied the turn meter down on a better gate, he would be an A tier easy. Because that 30% turn meter down is a lot. However, the target needs to have crit chance up, and not a whole lot of teams do that. Some, there's quite a few that are good, but you don't reliably get that. And then the other half of his kit that I think would be good is that when I first saw his kit, Black Flash counter. Because if you hit him, you get the 75% chance to apply 25 the turn meter down. But guess what? It does nothing to stop Black Flash because you're at 0 turn meter. So nope, doesn't work. He doesn't counter the speed meta, nor does he gives you an advantage on the kill. So I am reluctantly giving him a C because he's not useless.
I've talked to a few people who hadn't geared. Burger was pretty high on him on release, but then I guess he started liking him less and less as the month rolled on. I spoke to he who should not be named. He also felt the same way. He was like, yeah, I don't know, his damage is pretty good. And then, the more, Batman Who Laughs was being used, they just was like, I don't know, C at best. But, yeah, I guess his damage is good, but his kid just kind of, I looked at the kid, I'm like, dude, this kid kind of sucks.
Well, and
So,
they probably don't want us to share this, but his original kit had him applying hit chance or crit chance up on the
Then that
enemy
will
team.
make him good. Yeah,
Eh,
then he'll be good.
And then for some reason at release he didn't have that. So I don't know why that's the case, but
They kind of broke his kit before they shipped him.
yeah, so it's kind of silly. I don't understand that one. But it is what it is.
If they kept that, he would have been great, working with Superman or Chemo, people that love to get crits on your team. So wasted opportunity, I guess.
Which is fine with me. I needed the slow gear, and hopefully he's not needed in raids. On a side tangent, I am so not looking forward to raids this month. Like, more than ever. It's getting harder. Getting harder and harder to stomach raids.
I still want my crits.
I want my shards, but that's like, it's the only thing that keeps me going. Oh god, it's so
I'm
painful.
kind of glad it's a Terra skin. So I'm like, oh, I can sit this one out. And I'm kind of in San Francisco anyway, so whatever.
Moving on, King Shazam. Speaking of crappy characters.
There's an RV5 out there.
Yeah, 2D-tron just got RB5. Congratulations, or I'm sorry, however you want to look at it. Actually, hold on.
Out of his mind.
Let me read. Hold on, where is it? I gotta read what Zubaz wrote, which was exactly what.
You should bring in the context.
Yeah, so 2D-tron posted his RB5, and then shortly after, or right before that, DeBoy, congratulations DeBoy, he just announced his new son, and the birth of his baby boy, and Zubaz wrote, stark contrast in feeling true joy for a person, DeBoy, and pure sadness, Tootie. Can celebrate the birth of a boy, can't celebrate the birth of an abomination.
I just told 2D-tron, like, hey, man, millennials can't afford housing because they spend money on crap tunes.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I would have made him a slow gear, too. And I was like, well, maybe he's decent in Siege. He's got a stun. I like Disease I think Disease is an interesting, fun ability. And I was like, oh, maybe, because I've been wanting to find an alternate to stuns for rebirthing. And I was like, well, I've always kind of liked Chemo for his Disease counterattack. I was like, maybe King Shazam could kind of fit into that. Nah, he's terrible. I barely gave him a C. I used him twice during Siege, I think.
But think about it. It unlocks the gate for Captain Atom. Now his basic can't miss on Harley. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
One of the greatest combos out there.
I do think he's supposed to apply Disease on call assist because Doombox was saying the same thing. I guess when you look at Red Hood, I don't know, the way the skills happen, he should still do it.
Yeah.
It should still happen. So it would make him slightly better, but he still doesn't. And who knows if they'll ever fix it.
If nobody uses him other than one person, then probably not.
Yeah, he's barely a C. Anybody else have any thoughts on him?
I'm changing my vote.
Trash.
Okay.
Truck up.
Back to truck up. The trash bin.
He's close to
so
trash.
horrible.
He's close, but I don't see him as worse than Batman Who Laughs. So it's unfortunate
Well,
you didn't gear him.
I can't vote on Batman because
I know.
never
That's
geared
why
him
it's
because
unfortunate.
everybody said he sucked.
He does suck.
I don't think I'm gearing him. Even if he ends up being moderately useful in raids, I really want to be able to take Blackfire up quick, and I need a slow gear. I'll use Superwoman.
King Shazam, his thing is like his kit is probably more cohesive than Batman. It's just I don't know. He's just not very good at applying Disease, which is his entire design is Disease.
I don't know why they're so
So
conservative with the diseases. It's like let him
the one thing that
pass
he's
him.
supposed to do well, he doesn't do. Sounds like trash.
He's close. He might end up in the trash bin later.
Yeah. For now, let's
We'll
That's
leave
all
Why
right.
not
I
just
got
say they're
another
both
team
trash?
this month that I'm hoping we go to the trash.
well, let's preserve
Let's
Tooty's
just-
dignity for 1 month.
Yeah. All right, moving
No,
on
he
to
likes the trash bin.
Bizarro, who did get not quite as good of a rework as we were hoping, but he turned out pretty okay. And you want to start with him, Kage?
So I think it's fun. He's a fun kit. I don't think he's a great kit. He's fun. He's moderately useful in like a handful of situations. I think he's a lot more fun to use than, say, King Shazam. But I wish his freeze breath or his freeze lasers were on a lower cooldown because his damage kind of sucks. And so you're not really using him for much other than, messing around with
Or an AoE.
debuffs.
That would be so good if it was an AoE.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think he's terrible. The Purge immunities with the stun is nice, and it's good against Azrael and Arcus. But you're probably using other characters to do the job. So that's what my take is.
Yeah, but after his freeze breath, what does he do? He does absolutely nothing.
His bleeds can sometimes
Well,
be
he
useful.
does. You just gotta hope that he gets debuffed.
Debuff,
Yeah.
yes.
If you can debuff him and he does that AoE, dude,
Yes,
I've seen him lay
yes.
on like
Yes,
10
when
or
there's
more bleeds, like
yeah, Manta
like a
against
huge
him, yeah, it's fun.
stack.
Yeah, exactly. And watching those, my team got eaten by a bunch of bleeds. Granted, that was like one match, but I was impressed. You plug him in for that one situation, he's pretty good at that one thing.
Yes. If you use him as a counter, then yes, he'll be good. But I'm so disappointed.
You gotta
with
be
his
careful
basic-
too.
How so? When you
You
face
gotta
him,
be
or
careful when you face him and he's on defense, because if you debuff him too much and he gets that AoE off,
oh yeah,
probably lose at least one toon for bleeding out. I lost a match because of him.
his basic is disappointing to me. I thought he would at least hurt Harley, but he just tickles Harley with that can't miss basic.
I actually think it would bump him
nothing.
to an A. If his basic did good damage, he would
Yeah, it could
actually
a
be
counter.
decent. It'd be pretty decent. But that's, I think, his biggest disappointment. I kind of like him though. I mean, he's not bad. He's not a great character.
Yeah,
Because
he's not bad.
I would actually, if he wasn't green, I would probably take him up just to have that purging stun. It reminds me of Catwoman.
It is very useful. That move is very useful.
And he can be tanky, and I think at RB5 he'd be extremely tanky.
Yes, at L5 having third zero taunt and can't quite shake that taunt, he's just gonna die because he doesn't have any damage mitigation other than that measly overheal, right?
Yeah.
I think on defense he's kind of annoying, especially in this siege, because he was just
Alternate.
taunt on his own. Yeah.
Well, we didn't
So
have
you
any
can-
strong blues. That was the big
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, you just had Shazam to work with, and I don't know. Shazam's kind of whack too. Both Shazams suck in this game.
Yeah, they don't like the Shazam. So we gave him a B. Let's move on to Black Manta. And Luke, if you want to start with him.
What did I vote him as?
A B.
A B. So, Black Mana I found very useful this siege. First and foremost, I used him against Barda. If I was facing a Barda, I brought Manta. It really helped me kill her just with his passive alone. The other thing that he did well is he plays nice with Lex. And what I mean by that is when you use his AoE, it gives him a true sight, so it automatically starts buffing up your team so you can get some heals, you get some turn meter, And those bleeds were really helpful, especially when you're facing super tanky. This past siege was like tank fest. Everybody was so tanky. Even Bizarro was tanky. Barda was tanky. Shazam was tanky. Even King Shazam was tanky. So the bleeds were really helpful. I don't think that he's worthy of an A, but I do think he's a strong B, and I'll leave it at that.
Sheriff Lobo must have had a bad siege because he's more critical than these tunes, and he's usually the other direction. So because he gave him a C. I think he's borderline BC, but I also gave him a B. Thought he was pretty decent. He has his place. He can be good at times.
His only problem now, his kit is still good. His problem is his stats are power crept, but the kit still holds up. You're kind of worried about him getting snuffed by an AoE or him being unprotected against, the stronger greens in Siege like Martian Manhunter and Lex. He just melts. So, but other than that, his kit still kind of holds up.
Did Kage go? I think he said he...
Yeah, he did. He left.
Oh, okay. Alright, so that gives him a B. Moving on to probably my favorite character in the game, Hawkgirl. And
what happened to Killer Frost?
she's I still like her, but she's been power crept. Well, it's funny because I always liked Killer Frost better than Hawkgirl, but I hadn't RB5'd Hawkgirl. Once I RB5'd Hawkgirl, she became my favorite because the high rebirth for Hawkgirl makes such a difference for her. Because she can one-shot reds with her basic if she crits.
Oh, okay. On offense, it makes a difference.
It makes such a difference in offense. Because, like, Azrael, I can one-shot him sometimes. If he's not under, like, Hal Jordan or something, and he's not super high rebirth.
I didn't know that. I pretty much ignored your Hawkgirl. Treated her like an L5.
Yeah, I mean, in defense, that's my problem with her. I mean, she's still good. She's a strong character on defense. She's just not as... Like, it's not a massive difference for her. But on offense, it's a big difference because the damage increase and you can survive the blues when they hit her. It does make a huge difference for her. She's one of those characters. The only other character I think I like as much, maybe more, is Darkseid. He's just such a great character.
I regret not farming him.
Yeah, and he's another one. He's another one that between L5 and RB5 is a massive difference.
That one's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean he can AoE everything if he's once he's boosted. It doesn't matter what your affinity is.
Yes. Hate mail, can I speak freely on Hawkgirl? Why I think she's A and super annoying?
Yeah.
I know you want to keep some things under wraps.
Working as intended.
Sure. What?
How do you feel she's A, but but the mission was extremely because anyone gets his son, she's certain that it's not that you won't get your son. And so it and it's Hawkins and so you're messing all along, it's not just your body's son or you're not getting son, and it's whatever. So that's very point out when she's son and then Hawkgirl, she just I will have my Hawkgirl and so if I just come in her future gets picked and she's such a she's an A tier character. You mean if she gets nerfed unwarranted?
You're lucky that Dutytron doesn't care about Hawk. He's good at getting things fixed.
He was unsuccessful with Azrael, so he's got bigger fish to fry.
Azrael is not bugged. He's just freaking good. Cassandra Cain, on the other hand, mostly costly loves Duty because of this. Got fixed her get Miss AoE got fixed real quick.
All right, Loot, did you have any Hawkgirl comments before we move on?
Nothing different. Same comments.
Reverse Flash. I'm kind of surprised he made it to B tier. I really...
Can I actually... I'm going to read you my vote. Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
He's going reverse trash.
Oh, no!
Reverse Flash is now reverse trash. The guy is terrible. Terrible damage. Does nothing. He's garbage. like literally waste of a character. They need to redo him and make him strong or something. He hits lightly, doesn't work well with Lex. Whatever. He's garbage. I hate him. Done.
I have to agree with Loot to a certain degree. I don't think he's trash, but I think he's definitely C tier because his damage, even when he has like 85 strength ups, seems like I can't kill anything. I couldn't kill...
He doesn't hurt anyone.
You couldn't even kill Black Manta with him.
No.
And then with Barda, I mean, she might as well be green and has 8,000 awareness because he just does nothing. I don't know. He's so disappointing.
Does absolutely nothing to her.
The couple of times I brought him, those matches went so bad.
Yes, because this is a Barda siege, and all of his moves do damage. So yes, you're gonna piss off Barda. Well, he has some redeeming qualities. For one, he's faster than Black Flash. If he's open, he can turn meter down, put speed down. So that takes care of Black Flash for turn 1. And then if remember that one siege where he's a bonus dude against Lanterns, he was so clutch. He just punched everyone underneath those shields. And then he also stacks those speed ups quite fast. And his time paradox is also clutch. And he also gains the awarenesses passively quite well. That it's sometimes hard to kill him. He Dark Side punches him to oblivion, but he's got good survivability, he's fast and decent damage.
I don't know about the good survivability. I don't see that, but
he resets his health, the time paradox, and gains awareness. I mean, he's decent. I mean, I wouldn't even vote him C. He has his uses.
All right, moving on to Shazam, who I actually think is better than Black Flash, but I was the only one to give him a B. Everybody else gave him a C. He was actually pretty annoying to face in a lot of matches.
Yes. But he still sucks.
I think he does one thing well. He does literally one thing well. He's pretty quick. So, if you run him with Lex, you can buff pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that was really his main purpose of Siege.
That was his use for me.
Or if you're facing an all-green
Barda
team.
Light. He's Barda Light. That's what he is.
Barda Light.
Yeah, he's a crappier version of Barda. I did forget one of the matches that I lost. I did so bad this Siege. I don't even think I made top 10, but I kind of stopped caring the last couple days because I realized I didn't care if I got shards or Batman Who Laugh. But I always forget that he gets the turn meter when you hit his fret allies. And then when he's in a Lex team, and then he gets to go, and then now it's a 37-inch match.
Yeah. Ruins your turn order. Yes,
yeah.
That's that.
But
it's also unreliable on defense. So sometimes you have Barda and Shazam waiting to get hit by Black Flash to get your Lex going, and neither one procs, and it's like, oh, crud.
Thank you for listening to this episode of WROL Broadcast. Please help us out by becoming a Patreon and getting access to special Patreon-only shows. Just go to patreon.com/WROL Broadcast. We also now have DC face masks at our store. Be sure to check it out. Joker reads sulfur fluorides guides every day to stay on top of the game.